Kharkiv made a plea for aid during a virtual meeting with Boston Mayor Michelle Wu this morning. Mayor Igor Drikov compared the level of death and destruction to the 9/11 attacks. Speaking through an interpreter, Mayor Drikov asked Mayor Wu to put pressure on the process of sanctions against Russia.
Yeah, I know that in Boston you have also some representatives in the Congress from Boston. They could also push a bit the process with the sanction list and to push the process with for the pressure for Russia.
Kharkiv is Ukraine's second largest city. It is a sunny day today, partly sunny anyway, and the temperature is right now 48 degrees in Boston. This is GBH News.
Support for NPR comes from Caring Transitions, whose online estate sale auction solutions, CT Bids, connects family heirlooms with new owners while guiding seniors and their loved ones through the process at ctbids.com, and the Annie E. Casey Foundation.
Support for GBH comes from you and MFS Investment Management, supporting investment professionals with an approach that combines active fixed income investing with actionable insights and resources. More at mfs.com/active360. And Sunbug Solar, offering solar and battery storage renewable energy solutions for your home or business. To learn how you can build a more resilient future, you can visit sunbugsolar.com.
This is The Takeaway. I'm Melissa Harris-Perry. On Wednesday night, Congress passed a $1.5 trillion omnibus spending bill to fund the government through September. It includes nearly $14 billion in humanitarian and military aid to Ukraine. The bill does not contain aid to continue battling the pandemic. Still, it's one of the largest spending packages in American history. One part of the spending package is directed toward new cybersecurity protections for the U.S., which the Senate passed last week. Republican Senator Rhode from Ohio spoke on the Senate floor last week, urging the House to act quickly in signing this cybersecurity bill.
So what the Russians are doing is appalling, and the entire freedom-loving world needs to stand up to it, and we need to help Ukraine. With these attacks, both kinetic attacks, military attacks, and also the cyber attacks.
Although cyber attacks from Russia against Ukraine so far have been low level, there is rising concern that Russian-backed hackers could disrupt key infrastructure and resources like electricity or fuel in Ukraine. Now, Russia's big first cyber attack against Ukraine happened back in 2015 after Russia's attempt to annex Crimea. It launched a blackout attack against Ukrainian electric companies using malware that resulted in blackout for almost 250,000 Ukrainians. And some lawmakers are worried about Russia turning its ire toward the U.S. Last May, a Russian hacker was responsible for a ransomware attack against the Colonial Pipeline. It led to 2 widespread gas shortages along the East Coast. The Russian authorities said they arrested that hacker back in January. Now, for more on this, we have Joseph Marks, writer at Cybersecurity 202 newsletter for the Washington Post. Welcome to The Takeaway, Joe.
Thanks so much for having me, Melissa.
Okay, so in the midst of all this, multiple responses. I work at a couple different organizations, and sort of yesterday, every IT manager with whom I work is sending emails saying, okay, you got to go to 2-factor authentication, sort of all the things we know are good practices. But let me just start by asking, are those the kinds of practices that will protect us from a significant cyber attack?
In the aggregate, they definitely are. You know, the thing about even the most aggressive and savvy Russian hackers is most of what they do just relies on the lowest level things, right? They don't need to do anything too complicated because we are so underprotected in most cases. So organizations that are doing just the basics of having 2-factor authentication set up, making sure that, you know, when someone leaves the company, they don't leave that email account out there for a hacker to take over and starts sending out spam emails to all of his or her coworkers, that sort of thing really makes a huge difference in protecting an organization.
So password 123, that is an insufficient password, right?
That's correct.
Okay, so let's talk about what cyber warfare does look like in this day and age.
Yeah, that's a big question that people have been pondering over for a long time. And it's interesting because, the last decade, the ability of the most capable nations, Russia, China, the United States, to launch really devastating cyber attacks has increased remarkably, but there has